Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Elizabeth and this is Lola, not that she will be staying with us for this practice. And today we are going to focus on the lower part of the body, the legs, building a little bit of strength in our legs. As we get older, we tend to lose muscle mass each year. And as a woman, if you are perimenopausal or going through the menopause, then the estrogen levels that drop in our body also affect our joints and our bones. So you may find that you are moving in a different way. And sometimes these changes come upon us quite slowly so that you don't actually notice until something hurts or you move in a different way and just something hurts in your body. So the postures that we are going to do today, there's nothing out of the ordinary. They're quite simple, basic yoga postures, but we're going to bring our focus very much into stability rather than flexibility. So we're trying to keep our body as stable as we can to help build strength, to help build or maintain our muscle that we have. So when you're ready, find some space, roll out your mat, and we shall get started. So today we are going to actually start on all fours. Oh, and before we do start, have some cushions, or I've got yoga blocks to hand, just for the very end of the class. There's a pose that we're going to do that you might need a little bit of lift or extra props for. So as I said, we're going to start over on all fours. Stacking our joints with our wrists underneath our shoulders and our knees underneath our hips. We're trying not to let the belly dip towards the floor. We want to try and draw our belly button in towards our spine. And by keeping our gaze towards the floor, we have this lovely long line from the crown of the head all the way down towards the tailbone. We're going to extend our right leg behind us now, just keeping the toes to the floor. And just notice if you begin to tip your hips. By keeping that back foot on the floor to begin with, we can level our hips and again finding this stability, which I will be banging on about probably quite a lot through the class. So from here, we're going to lift that right leg up to hip height. So no higher, we're not swinging it up towards the ceiling. We are keeping, hopefully, the hips squared, the shoulders squared as well. Now we can stay here, or if you want to, extend our left arm in front. Keep that gaze towards the floor, keep drawing that belly in, and remember to breathe. Obviously, the main principle of our yoga practice is the breath. We draw it in through the nose and out through the nose. Take the left hand down and return that right knee towards the mat. So we're going to come onto the opposite side now, taking that left foot out behind us. Obviously, when we're not involving any effort in the movement, the breath flows quite smoothly. We can control the inhale, we can control the exhale, and the practice is to keep that control as we draw effort into our physical movement. So from here, we take that left leg up to hip height. And again, we're not swinging it too high. And if it doesn't reach up to the hip height, just keep it a few inches off the floor. As we remove our right arm and our right hand and extend that forward, we're really testing our balance here. We're pulling the belly button in. We're trying to focus on that smooth inhale and that long exhale. And then returning our right hand and our left knee back down towards the earth. You can always sit back either on your heels or in a child's pose at any point if you want to, just to give your wrist a little manipulation here if they're feeling a little bit tight. So from our all fours position, we're just going to repeat that and just add on a little pulse movement through the extended leg just to warm up our lower half of the body. So we extend the right leg behind us. We lift that right leg up to hip height and we just lift it up and down about 4 or 5 times, pushing the heel away, trying to keep softness through the upper body as we draw that belly button in. Obviously, to add the extra challenge, you can extend your left arm as you pulse the leg behind you. Try not to let the belly drop towards the floor, keeping strong through the center of our body. Coming on to the opposite side now. One side's always easier than the other. Taking that left leg up, breathing in, breathing out with each little pulse movement. Staying strong through our core. And maybe giving ourselves that challenge to extend the right arm in front of us. Fabulous. Let's drop back down onto all fours. And then from here, just tuck the toes, lift the hips up and backwards, and just come into a down dog. We're only going to come into a couple of down dogs today. But I always find it is a nice stretch to lengthen down the back of the legs, stretching out the spine, stretching out through the arms as well. Just try not to let your head, your shoulders drop down towards the floor. So we're finding space within the body as much as we can. Lifting that right leg, little bend in the knee, and then drop the right foot between the hands. Come down onto that left knee. Now, if we can, push through our right foot and our left knee just to draw yourselves up into the low lunge position. If you need to put your hand on your knee to help, obviously that is absolutely fine. It's quite a short low lunge position. And what I mean by that is we're not coming forward too far and almost hanging in this posture. It's like a square, lots of right angles going on. And staying in this shortened posture with our right knee out towards the small toe. See if you can draw your inner thighs towards each other. It's almost like a scissoring action. So even though you're not actually moving your legs, you're squeezing your thighs in together, rolling your shoulders back and down here, staying strong in our low lunge. Squeezing that left glute as well. And as we exhale, we're just going to take the hands down towards the floor. See if we can step it back into our downward facing dog. And then just repeating that on the opposite side. So taking our left leg up, squeezing the knee to the nose. Drop the foot between the hands. Find that shortened stance with the legs as we lift ourselves up. Roll the shoulders back and down. Squaring hips, squaring shoulders. And again, that little scissoring action, drawing the thighs in towards each other. Staying here for a few breaths. When we hold these postures, it's always a good opportunity just to return to our breathing pattern, just to notice that we're not clenching through the jaw. We're trying to keep length in the inhale, depth in the exhale. Let's take our hands all the way back down to the floor. We're going to tuck the toes of the right foot, and this time a little hop to the top of the mat. Forward fold when we get there, and as we inhale, reaching the arms up, touching our palms together and bringing them down towards our heart, finding ourselves in mountain pose. Bring your arms alongside the body and begin to close your eyes. By closing our eyes, we have a real focus on where we are holding our weight. Are we tipping back into the heels? Are we rolling forward into the toes? Do we carry it more on the right or the left-hand side of the body? And it's always a good opportunity to find your center, come back to your center. Focusing on our breath, focusing on our balance. Okay, so if you've got your eyes closed, I advise opening them, bringing the hands towards the heart. And we're going to transfer the weight into that right foot. Let's begin to lift that left knee. Now, as we do so, try not to hitch that left hip up. Scooch it down so the hips remain relatively level. And then from here, from this balanced pose, if you just focus on a little point in front of you, don't give it the death stare, just try and keep that focus quite soft. It does help the balance, as does letting the breath flow. We're going to step this left foot back behind us, so a little bend in the right knee. And we step the left foot back And stay on the toes or the ball of that left foot. Bring a bend into the right knee and have a little bend in the left knee as well as we come into this high lunge variation. Exactly the same as when we were down on the mat. We want to try and scissor those thighs together, squeeze those thighs together, squeezing our glute muscles as well and keeping our right knee out over towards the small toe. Let's lift the arms up towards the ceiling, but keeping some softness through the shoulders so we're not lifting out of the shoulder joints here. Now we can keep the arms lifted, or if they begin to get a little heavy, return them to the heart. We're just going to do a couple of pulses. We're going to straighten both legs, and as we exhale, we're going to sink it down. We inhale and we lift. We exhale and we lower, maybe coming a little bit lower each time. Inhale, lift, focusing on that point in front of you, finding that balance. Let's see if we can go down one last time. Can the knee touch the floor? Can we bring the hands to the heart? If we manage to get down to the floor, try and keep that softness through the shoulders. And as we inhale, pushing through the feet, using the legs to draw ourselves back up into that high lunge before stepping our left foot to meet our right at the top of the mat. Finding our Tadasana again, just closing the eyes, letting the breath settle, finding the balance between the right-hand side of the body and the left. Returning the hands to the heart, opening the eyes if you have them closed, transferring the weight into the left foot as we reach that right knee up. Leveling off those hips, finding the focus, finding the balance as we float the right foot behind us, drop it to the floor, dance the feet around to find the position for you, and we come into this variation of a high lunge posture. Reaching the arms up, take a nice big breath in, and we straighten both legs. As we exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lifting, always keeping an eye on this left knee, keeping it out towards the small toe. Lowering down. The inhale draws us up. The exhale sinks us down a little bit further each time if we have that in us today. Last time, let's take it down all the way to the floor if that knee reaches. Taking the hands to the heart as we roll the shoulders back and down. On our next inhale, we keep the shoulders soft, we push through the feet and the legs, and we come back up into that high lunge. Stepping our right foot to meet our left at the top of the mat. Tadasana. So I don't know about you, but these small movements really do get the heart rate elevated, and slowing the movement down really lets us focus on the muscles that we are using, keeping ourselves strong and stable in these postures. We're going to come into another balance now. We're going to transition from our next balance into a couple of other leg postures. So coming to the top of our mat, if you've drifted away like me, we bring that weight back into the right foot and we take our left foot into tree pose. Just let me whiz round, give you a quick old demo on the tree. So the weight is in the left foot and we take that right foot, keep the toes to the floor if you wish. We can take the foot to the calf. We can avoid that knee joint as comfortable as it is, or we can take the foot onto the inner thigh. Now, wherever your foot is, be very aware of what this right hip is doing. We don't want to hang out in this posture, just letting that hip kick out to the side. We want to stay strong through the sole of the foot, so you're feeling that weight underneath the big toe, the little toe, the midpoint of the heel. You're really pushing the foot to the earth to lengthen through that leg, to find that stability, that strength. Bring the hands to the heart. Again, focus on that point in front of you, something that isn't moving. And this left knee, we're just taking it out to the side as far as our joints allow. So if it means that you start to whiz round, then you know you've gone too far. So you're finding that little bit of softness and balance in your tree pose. And then from here, we're going to turn our left knee forward towards the front of the mat, lift that knee, and then a big step back, and we're going to come into our warrior two. So we open out our arms, dancing those feet around to find the position that works for you. So maybe not too far. The right knee is out towards the small toes. The shoulders are relaxed and the arms are strong. Push into your back foot as well as your front foot. Again, almost trying to squeeze your legs together here. So we are activating the muscles rather than just sort of chilling and hanging out in the old warrior two. We are working our muscles even though we are looking beautifully calm and still, like a swan really. From our warrior two, we're going to reverse our warrior by taking our right arm up and reaching it behind. And one thing I've noticed in this posture is when people go backwards, they tend to straighten that front leg. Try and keep a bend in that right leg if you can. And then drawing the arms back over, warrior two. Keep the arms where we are now as we straighten into our front leg. We're going to reach the body forward, coming into triangle pose. So we lengthen through the torso, finding lift and length, both sides of the ribs. And as we exhale, just rotating the arms over. Doesn't matter how high this arm comes or how low this arm comes, just find some openness and space across the body. And we're pushing into both feet. So we're not completely transferring that weight forward. Looking down towards our right foot, bend into the right knee, push through the feet, so we're back to standing. And we're going to flare our toes now to the outer corners of our mat. Rest our hands on the top of our legs and come down into this wide-legged squat position, this goddess squat. Maybe have a little rock from side to side. Transfer that weight, see how it feels. Sinking the tailbone down towards the floor and feeling that weight underneath the heel and the front of the foot as well. So we're not lifting the toes off. Just relaxing in this goddess pose and opening out the arms into our goddess arms. Now, as we inhale, we're going to reach up and come into star. Exhale, sink it down into goddess. Inhale it up and exhale down. See if we can do a couple more here. I always lose count. I always say try and aim for about 5, but like I say, I always lose count. So we could do 3. We could end up doing 10. I think this is the last one. Taking it up. And sinking back into our goddess pose. Let's relax the hands back onto the top of the legs. Straighten those legs. If you have the energy, we can jump those feet together, or we can just heel toe the feet back to the center of the mat and repeat that lovely little sequence on the opposite side. Coming into tree pose on the opposite side. So bring the weight into that left foot and our right foot, I'll turn to face again. That right foot is going to rest either on the floor, on the calf, on the inner thigh, hands to heart. Not kicking out, standing tall, so really rooting down as though you have tree roots drawing you down underneath the sole of that foot. One side of the body will feel different to the other. So if you're not in exactly the same position this side as you were on the other, that's completely fine. We are not symmetrical beings. And each day differs as well. So from our tree pose, we turn our right knee forward, lift it up, and then with control, take it back, drop the foot down, and we open out into our warrior on the opposite side. I'm just going to scoot to the front just so that you can see from the front rather than looking at the back of me. So we're on the left-hand side now in our warrior. Maybe even close the eyes, unless that means you're going to fall over. It really does help you notice where your weight is underneath your feet, and you are pushing down through those feet. You're keeping that knee out. You're squeezing your legs together. Reversing our warrior now, so taking that right hand down the back of the leg, reaching up with the left, keeping the bend in that left knee. Traveling back through our warrior as we straighten our left leg. As we breathe in, almost feel yourself lifting through the sides of your body as we extend forwards and rotate over. If the neck's feeling a bit sore, to look up, then keep your gaze forward or even down towards the mat in this posture. Little bend into the left knee, pushing ourselves back up as we return to our goddess, rolling those shoulders back and down, keeping the elbows at shoulder height, drawing the shoulder blades together behind us. And then as we inhale, we lift up into star. As we exhale, we sink it down. A few more times here, moving with the breath. Inhale and exhale, keeping those knees out if we can. Inhale it up. Exhale down. Let's do 2 more. Last time up. And exhale back into our goddess, relaxing the arms on top of the legs, straightening the legs now. And again, if you have the energy, you can hop the feet together. And we turn to face the top of our mat, returning once more into our Tadasana, into our mountain pose here. And we're going to work our way down towards the floor. So let's reach our arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Touch our palms together, draw the hands towards the heart. And as we do so, hinging from the hips, soft bend in the knees if you need to lengthen forward. Dropping the hands towards the mat, and again, bending the knees if you need to get the hands fully flat. Let's step it back into our plank position. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. And then from here, just drop onto our knees, walking our hands back behind us to sit on our heels. So to end our class today, we are going to be sitting on our heels and also possibly in another variation called Virasana, hero posture. Now I know this isn't comfortable for everyone, so I'm just going to show you a couple of adaptations. Like I said at the top of the class, grab a cushion or 2. I'm going to use my blocks as my cushion. So if sitting on the knees or on the heels isn't comfortable, we're going to take a block or a cushion, scoot it behind us there, and just sit back on this. If that is still not comfortable, you can either build yourself up for a little tower of cushions, or just come and sit in any posture, any seated posture that works for you. Be that cross-legged, legs in front of you, whatever feels comfy. The other seated posture that I want to show you, rather than sitting on the heels, is a pose called hero pose. Now, as a child, you probably used to be able to sit with your bottom on the floor and your legs out at the side. And as we age, it tends to be one of these postures that just ain't working anymore, be that because of the knees or the thighs or the ankles, all these factors. However, if we sit on a cushion or a block or several blocks, it does make it actually quite a comfy posture to maintain. The benefits of this pose is that it helps keep your spine lengthened. Oftentimes when we sit cross-legged, that's when we bring a little curve into the spine. We tend to slouch and roll forward. But by sitting in this pose, it really does help elevate you, lift you, which is always good for a breathing practice in a yoga class, which is where we're going to finish today. So whatever seated position you are in, let's just take our hands in front of us, just resting the back of one hand in the palm of the other. Maybe the thumbs are connected here. Close the eyes and just really notice how you are breathing. Let the shoulders soften. Be aware of your sit bones, be they seated on a block, cushions, on the floor, and just notice the length of the spine. Maybe the chin drops a little bit towards the chest. Another benefit to sitting in this hero pose, this Virasana, is it gives a little stretch down the front of the legs, our quad muscles, which we have woken up a little in that short practice. But when we sit and focus on our breathing, we want to be in a position where we can maintain stillness, because the stillness in the body will translate to stillness in the mind. And if we're getting all agitated and fidgety, then that kind of defeats the purpose. So I invite you to stay in this posture, in your relaxation, for as long as you feel comfortable, but maybe for at least 10 focused inhales and focused exhales. And then after that time, slowly fluttering your eyes open, if you've had your eyes closed. Maybe bringing your hands to your heart to give yourself a little bow of thanks for making it onto your mat for this short leg practice today. And I hope you can join me again on the mat soon. If you haven't already, please could you subscribe to my channel? Maybe give me a like or drop me a comment below if there's anything you would like to ask me. And if you feel this video would benefit anyone you know, please feel free to share. And as I say, I look forward to seeing you on the mat again very soon. Thank you.